Hello and welcome to Episode 6 of the Bowman Color Team Sets, where we take a look at the collection of players from each team featured in the Bowman set and see what they were up to during the 1953 season. Today we're going to do something a little bit different as we take a look at the Boston Red Sox, who in 1953 would play a completely crazy game that ultimately would become one for the record books. But before we get into that, let's just have a look at the cards themselves. Okay, so we're going to do these in order, starting with probably my favorite Red Sox card in this set, Mr. Walter Hoot Evers. Just a fantastic pose. Probably one of my favorite cards in the entire set. Next up, Martin McDermott. Pretty interesting character in baseball. Has a nice portrait here, nice backdrop of Yankee Stadium. Here's Sammy White. He's going to factor in pretty heavily in the inning that we're going to take a look at today. Here's the manager, Lou Boudreau, looking on from the dugout. Great shot. Hall of Famer, George Kell. This is towards the end of his career. Here's pitcher Mel Parnell rubbing up the baseball, and he has the glove wrapped around his wrist. This is one of my favorites as well. Johnny Lapone going for the infield play. There's a lot to like about this card. You know, the joy of these cards is found in the details. You can see the insignia on the ball down there that he's reaching for, his glove. And of course he's got this great grin on his face. The facade in the background, just all in all a fantastic card. Here's Billy Goodman. This is the only spring training card amongst the Red Sox cards in the set. You'll also notice that he's wearing a home jersey, whereas all the other Boston photographs were taken at Yankee Stadium for an away game. Now, last but not least, technically this isn't in the team set, but I wanted to mention this one. Clyde Vollmer, who at the time, if you look at the back of the card, was playing for the Washington Senators, but when the photograph was taken, was a Boston Red Sox player. These photographs were taken the year before, and if you look carefully, you'll notice he's got the Boston B on his hat, and just under his arm there, you can see a little bit of the Red Sox logo. So I guess Bowman figured they'd get away with a shot. Anyway, there you go, the 1953 Boston Red Sox team set. Okay, so here we go. June 18th, 1953. In one corner, the Red Sox, who were treading water with manager Lou Boudreau, hanging around fourth place in the standings. Opposite them, the Detroit Tigers and their manager, Fred Hutchinson, who were going down pretty fast. They were 14-42 for the season at that point in June. Together, the Sox and the Tigers would, over one particular inning, craft a little bit of insane baseball history. The starting pitchers that day were Ned Garver for the Tigers and Marv Grissom for the Red Sox. So through 6 innings, the Red Sox led the Tigers 5-3. In the top of the 7th, the Tigers go down in order with a pop-out, strikeout, and a ground-out. Then came the bottom of the 7th. So in the bottom of the 7th, Ned Garver is replaced by Steve Gromek in relief. The first batter he's going to face is Sammy White. who leads off the inning with a single. Sammy White's a name that you're going to hear quite a few times in this inning. Following White is Gene Stevens, who also singles, and White goes to third. That allows Stevens to steal second. So now we've got second and third with nobody out, and up to the plate walks Tom Umflett. Umflett also singles, scoring White and Stevens. So now the Red Sox are leading 7-3. Next up, Johnny Lapone, who quickly strikes out. So that's out number 1. It'll be a while until we get to that second out. Following Lapone is Hall of Famer George Kell, who hits a double, and that allows Umflett to move over to third base. So now we've got second and third with just 1 out. Billy Goodman comes up to the plate, and the decision is made to intentionally walk him. So now we've got the bases loaded. Jimmy Pearsall's at the plate, and he singles, scoring Umflett and Kell, and Goodman ends up at third base. So now we've got a 9-3 Red Sox lead. Again, only 1 out. So now Steve Gromek is going to face Dick Gernert. Things haven't been going well so far this inning, but they're about to get worse because Gernert hits a 3-run homer. So now it's 12-3 Red Sox. Okay, now Ellis Kinder, the pitcher, comes to the plate. You gotta remember, it's 1953, so there's no designated hitter yet in the American League. Gotta be able to get the pitcher out though, right? Well, no. Kinder's gonna single to right field. Just no breaks for the Tigers pitching staff today. And so here we are. This guy should look familiar. It's Sammy White. That's right, we've batted around, and now Sammy White's up for the second time in the inning. This time, he walks. And Fred Hutchinson, the manager of the Tigers, has finally decided that he's had enough. Gromek is out, and Dick Wyke is in. So what does Dick Wyke do with his first batter? Well, he throws a wild pitch, and that allows Kinder to move to third and Sammy White to second. Then Gene Stevens promptly hits a double. Kinder and White score, so now it's 14-3 Red Sox. Doesn't look like Dick Wyke is going to make much of a difference in putting this fire out. Tom Umflett returns to the plate. He's already got 2 RBI in this inning. This time, he walks. And so that means that Johnny Lapone's back at the plate. He's the only person to make an out so far in this inning. Remember, there's still only 1 out. But this time, he redeems himself and gets a single. Gene Stevens scores, and now it's 15-3 Red Sox. So now with 2 on, George Kell gets another crack at it, but ends up popping up to left field. In these kinds of innings, you don't want to be that guy that gets an out, but in this instance, ironically, the Hall of Famer on this team, George Kell, is that guy. So now, there are finally 2 outs. Maybe this inning's going to end. It definitely feels like a relief if you're a Tiger fan. That is until you realize that the next batter is Billy Goodman, who's already been intentionally walked in this inning. This time he singles, bringing in Umflett. The ball is thrown home, and that allows Goodman to move to second on the play. So now it's 16-3, and we're still not done, guys. So if Wyke was brought in to stop the bleeding, the patient's just about out of blood. And Fred Hutchinson decides to yank him and to bring in Earl Harris. His first batter, Al Zarilla, who walks. So now the third Tigers pitcher of the inning faces a bases-loaded jam when 11 runs have already come across the plate. So who do you not want to face in this situation? You don't want to face the guy that just moments earlier hit a 3-run home run. But that's exactly who the Tigers have to face, Dick Gernert. Of course, Al Harris, the pitcher, knows this, so he's trying to pick around the strike zone, and that's never a good idea. So he winds up walking Gernert and forcing in a run, which is the ultimate in embarrassing baseball moments. In an inning filled with them, things are just getting better and better for the Red Sox, but worse and worse for the Tigers. So now it's 17-3. It couldn't possibly get any worse, right? Okay, now, here comes the dagger. Wait, you mean there's more? Yeah, there's more. The next 4 batters, Ellis Kinder, the pitcher, Sammy White, Gene Stevens, and Tom Umflett, all 4 of those guys hit singles. It's like that Bugs Bunny cartoon where the players are doing a conga line around the base paths. Yeah, exactly like that. By the time the merry-go-round the bases finishes, it's now 22-3 Red Sox. Johnny Lapone comes up, and he walks. It's starting to feel like this inning may never end. It's a scary thought to think about what must have been going on in the minds of a Detroit Tiger player at this point. But then George Kell, Hall of Famer George Kell, who to be fair is nearing the end of his career, steps up and he makes his second out of the inning with a flyout, thus finally putting the inning and the Detroit Tigers out of their misery. It's over. So let's do a little recap of this inning, shall we? In the bottom of the 7th, the Red Sox scored 17 runs. That's right, 17 just in that inning. They did it with 23 at-bats, 14 hits, and 6 walks. And oh yeah, by the way, in case you missed it, George Kell left the bases loaded at the end of the inning. So that means there was room for more. You also may have noticed that the Red Sox did all of this in the 7th inning without the splendid splinter himself, Mr. Ted Williams, who was still in service at the time during the Korean War and would not return to the Red Sox until the All-Star break. If there was any good news, it was that Mr. Al Kaline would be officially signed to the Tigers the day after this disastrous game. So if you're a Tigers fan, my apologies. I'll find a way to make it up to you in the upcoming Tigers video. But those of you that were Red Sox fans, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you all enjoyed taking a look at these cards and this kind of crazy inning. Thanks for checking out the video, guys, and I'll see you on the next Team Sets episode.